Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? How are you guys doing today? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas with this inspirational morning talk. For first time listeners, I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:45 a.m. That's our time here in Texas. Not a beautiful winter day here, which is warm for us, which is warm. Might be hitting 80s again today. It was in the 80s yesterday. This is winter for us. But yes, guys, I hope you guys getting great weather wherever you are. But today I want to just talk about some of the negative effects of breaking covenants, how serious covenants are, and it's a little simple things that we may overlook, that we made a covenant and didn't even realize, and we suffering some effects from it and don't even know why, right? So I just want to point something out so we can search ourselves, because I'm looking for some answers for myself too. And God put this in my way this morning to talk about. So I guess it's for me a lot to ask for whoever, in these situations also. So so we're gonna look at Joshua. We're gonna look at Joshua, a couple stuff in Joshua, a little bit from Joshua 5, a little from Joshua 7, a little bit from Joshua 8. So we can start with Joshua 5. We can just read a little bit from 5, from 13 through 15, 5, 13 through 15. And then we're going to see how the story built. This is the fall of Jericho. This is the fall of Jericho, right? When Joshua conquered Jericho. Well, the next thing I want to point out, how these victories already done spiritually before we go and even do them. God done, in some cases, don't know the answer before we even do it, right? So let's look at Joshua 5, 13 through 15 and see. It said this is the fall of Jericho. This is the fall of Jericho, Joshua 5, and I read from 13 through 15. It said, now when Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hands. Joshua went up to him and asked, are you with us or with our enemies? So Joshua saw this man with his sword in his hand. And Joshua like, I don't know this man. He looked like an enemy. He looked like one of us, Before I do anything, let me ask him. So Joshua asked him, are you a friend or a foe? Are you with us or are you with them? Tell me. So, So the man replied, neither, he replied, but as the commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come. So this is an angel he's saying here. I'm the commander of the army of the Lord, I now come. Then Joshua fell face down to the ground in reverence and asked him, what message does my Lord have for his servant? What message? So Joshua realized this is, God's angel, commander of the Lord's army. This is no normal angel. He's the commander of the Lord's army, right? So Joshua said, what's the message? What message God got for me now? The commander of the Lord's army replied, take off your sandals, for the place where you're standing is holy. And Joshua did so, right? And Joshua did so. So Joshua took off his sandals. Now we're going to hear what the message that God got to him. That's the end of verse 5, chapter 5. So I can go on to 6 now. With story continue in chapter 6, Joshua 6. This is Joshua 6 now. We can just read from 1 to about 5. Joshua 6, we can read from 1 to 5. So now the gates of Jericho were secure. Remember, this is the fall of Jericho. He's going to attack Jericho, right? Now the gates of Jericho were securely barred because of the Israelites, because the Jericho preparing for the attack from Israel. So to bar up the whole city, they had these big gates that people could come in. So they got everything shut tight. Everything shut tight so the Israelites can't come in. So now, so let me read that. Now the gates of Jericho were securely barred because of the Israelites. No one went out and no one came in. Then the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its kings and its fighting men. Stick a pin. I want people to understand this. You hear what this angel telling Joshua. This battle is started here. Joshua trying now to go and see how he can get to attack these people. These people got the gates securely fastened. It's closed. Everything is locked up tight. But this angel telling him this is a message from the Lord. Then the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have delivered Jericho into your hands. How you deliver Jericho into my hands? The people gates are locked up, securely fastened. I don't even know how I get in. But yet still, Lord, you telling me you will already delivered them into my hands, then the whole city and the kings. How is this possible? That's what we're saying. Stuff that's done spiritually before it's done here in the spiritual realm, before it's done in this realm. See, God done deliver this into his hands. So all you got to do is follow the instructions and the victory is his. So let's see, we'll go on. He said, then the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its kings and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a loud blast on the trumpets, have the whole army give a loud shout, then the walls of the city will collapse and the army will go up. Will go up. And let me read that again. Then the army will go up, everyone straight in. So he's saying, follow these simple instructions. Yeah, I'll march around the city 7 times. You blow the horn. You get him some instructions. You tell him the 7th day you do this. And all the walls is going to fall. I say, I don't deliver these people into your hands. Remember when we talk about, who's this guy here, when he tell him when he take the 300 men up with him? Who it is? It's Gideon. When he tell him when he take 300 men, because I already delivered the Midianites into your hand. I already delivered the Midianites into your hand. When he tell them, because when you get this victory, I don't want the Israelites saying is on their own strength. So again here, I'm just showing you these stuff that's done already, right? It's done in the spiritual realm. We just got to follow the instructions, do what we need to do, the instructions God given us. In this case, he tell him what to do to Jericho. It's done. God said he delivered it. It's just finished. You just got to go and follow what you do and you can get the victory, right? It's like a lot of things in our life. So I'm going somewhere with this. So let us now look at, turn the page here. So God tell him what to do. Delivered, he got the victory over thing. We can go through the whole story. But before they go in, he tell them not to take any, he get them specific instructions what to take out of the city. Do not take certain things out of Jericho. You can see a lot of nice things, but don't take certain things. You tell him when you take the silver and the gold and put in his treasury, but all this stuff that the people got, very nice, expensive things, he said don't touch it because they are devoted things, or what you call what's the next word I'm looking for? But you tell him anyhow. We tell him not to touch certain things. Don't bring certain things out. You give him specific instructions. Now, let's see what happened here now when they go to attack a smaller nation, because one of these guys break the law, break the covenant that he made with them and tell them not to take those stuff out. And he took some stuff out, hide it from people. Nobody didn't know anything that he took this stuff, right? So God tell him not to take. He make a covenant with them and tell them not to do this. Michelle Blair, good morning, good morning. So let's see what happened now in the next battle that they're going to fight, this little place called Ai. So we can read from Joshua 7. We can read a portion of Joshua 7. Then, but the Israelites were unfaithful. This is after they go into Jericho. They were unfaithful. But the Israelites were unfaithful in regards to the devoted things. Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zimri, the son of Zerah of the tribe of Judah, took some of them. So the Lord's anger burned against Israel. So to break this covenant and to take this stuff. Yes, Mishan, that was a long time. But don't worry, everything is there. Anytime you get the time, you can go and look back at them. But thanks for catching me live today. Right? So Achan took some of these things and God is upset, so to speak, with them. And there's a smaller nation they're going to attack, right? So now Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Beth-haven to the east of Bethel, and told them, go up and spy out the region. So the men went up and spied out Ai. When they returned to Joshua, they said, not all the army will have to go up against Ai. Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it, and do not weary the whole army, for only a few people live there. So about 3,000 men went up. But they were routed by the men of Ai, who killed about 36 of them. They chased the Israelites from the city gates as far as the stone quarries and struck them down on the slopes, as this At this, the hearts of the people melted into fear and became weak like water. So what happened here now? Pamela Jefferson, good morning, sis. How are you doing? So what happened here now? First mistake Joshua made, he didn't consult God to find out, God, is it a good time to attack? That's why God said there's a way that seems right to us, but it can end in death to destruction. He said, consult me. I'm going to lead you. I'm going to direct you. I'm going to tell you when to do things. And when I tell you it's done, it's done. All you got to do is follow the instructions and you get the victory. Nothing more you really got to do, right? But Joshua underestimated this, people. He sent people to spy out the land. The people said, you don't got to worry. This is a small nation. You don't got to send the whole army in. This is light work for us. 2,000-3,000 men to take care of them. Quick, little 2-3 hours. We back home. We ain't got to worry with that. But the smaller nation, they defeated bigger nations because God already told them when to attack. I give them over to you. This is a small nation he overlooked and went in on his own, right? And he got a good whooping. 36 men died. You might say, but he sent 3,000 and only 36 men died. 36 men is not a lot until one of them is your father. 36 men is not a lot until one is your brother. 36 men is not a lot until it's your husband. One of them is your husband. 36 men is a lot until it's a family member. Right? Man, there's only 36 yet, but 36 families now is fatherless. Right? So now Joshua want to know what's going on. Beverly Gomes, good morning, good morning. So Joshua want to know what's going on now. Then Joshua tore his clothes and fell face down to the ground before the ark of the Lord, remaining there till evening. The elders of Israel did the same and sprinkled dust on their heads. And Joshua said, Alas, sovereign Lord, why did you bring this people across the Jordan to deliver them into the hands of the Amorites to destroy us? He said, God, why you bring us here to destroy us? No, Joshua, no, he didn't bring you to destroy you. If only we had been content to stay on the other side of the Jordan. He got a pity party now. God, if you only left us on the other side, this wouldn't have happened. No, Joshua, you should have consulted me first, and I would have tell you what's going on, and I would have tell you it's not time to attack because of something that you don't know. But that's why he's telling us bring stuff to him, because a lot of stuff we don't know, as we said, we perish for our ignorance, right? So Joshua having this pity party here with God. If only we had been content to stay on the other side of the Jordan. Pardon your servant, Lord. What can I say now that Israel has been routed by his enemies? The Canaanites and the other people of the country will hear about this, and they will surround us and wipe our name from the earth. What then will you do for your own great name? So he's trying to put God on a guilt trip. So God, you bring us out to Egypt. Now when people hear that this little nation beat us, all of them going to surround us and wipe us out. And then how they're going to look on you, God? You's the one who's not looking good. He's trying to put God on a guilt trip. Like, you're not going to look good when this happened to us because we're your people and you allow these people to do this. But here God respond to him. The Lord said to Joshua, stand up. What are you doing on your face? Israel has sinned. They have violated my covenant. Now, this is all news to Joshua, because as far as Joshua knows, he didn't do nothing wrong. He upheld everything. They have violated my covenant, which I commanded them to keep. They have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen, they have lied, they put them in their own possessions. This is why Israel cannot stand against their enemies. See, the break of covenant, the text stuff that God said don't take. Right? So now, a little smaller, weaker army whooped them when they defeated bigger nations because the break of covenant with God and to take some of the stuff that he said do not take. So now so let's go on. They had put them in their own possessions. This is why the Israelites cannot stand against their enemies. They turn their backs and run because they have been made liable to destruction. I have not been with you anymore. I will not be with you anymore unless you destroy whatever among you is devoted to destruction. So God said, I'm not going to be with you guys no more until you get rid of the thing that you're not supposed to have. I'm going somewhere with this. Until you get rid of the thing you're not supposed to have, that I tell you not to take, I ain't going to be with you no more. You could go up against a dog with your whole army and the one dog going to beat y'all. You could go up against a cat and it's going to beat y'all because I'm not nowhere with you guys no more. And without me, I'm the fuel behind your strength. So without me, anybody is going to beat you until you undo what should not have been done, right? So he said, go consecrate the people. Tell them, consecrate yourselves in the preparation for tomorrow. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, said. They are devoted things among you, Israel. You cannot stand against your enemies until you remove them. I'm going to stop here for this portion of the story, and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. But God showed him, this guy Achan, he told him what to do, go through support and procedure, and he found out Achan had the devoted things with him, right? This man Achan. So I can just jump straight ahead what it did to Achan, and then I'm going to continue a little bit into 8 and have some discussion. So when he went through the procedure, will God tell him how to find out who got this devoted thing? But remember, he's saying whole of Israel. So one man bring this in the Israel camp, and God punished the whole of Israel, right? I ain't gonna go there today. There's generational curses kind of thing, but I ain't gonna go there today. That's not what I'm focusing on today. But so let's see what happened. They found out who got it now, and this is what it did. Then all Israel stoned him. This is when they found Achan with the stuff. Then all Israel stoned him, and after they had stoned the rest, they burned them. Over Achan they heaped up a large pile of rocks, which remain to this day. Then the Lord turned from his fierce anger. Therefore, that place has become called the Valley of Achor ever since. So they found Achan, they stoned him to death and everything. So they get rid of the devoted things. They went and burned the stuff that he took out. He said a few things that he took out, some robes and some silver and all that. But I want to show you now, same nation wanted to go in and fight that just whooped them. Hear what happened now. We're going to just read 2 verses from 8, and then I'm going to have a quick little discussion, right? So then after that, they burned the stuff to get rid of that. Then the Lord, so this is Joshua 8 now. And just read from verse 1 to 3. Then the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid. Now after you get rid of the devoted thing. Now the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Take the whole army with you and go up and attack Ai. Here again, when we tell him this about Jericho. For I have delivered into your hands the king of Ai. Again, after you get rid of the devoted things, the battle didn't start yet, but God's saying, I already delivered them into your hands. You see, that's the mistake he make when he before you're going to fight Ai. He didn't consult God, nor God didn't tell him it's the right time to move. If he had consulted God, God would have said, no, you got devoted things in your camp, go get rid of it first before. You will not have to go and lose 36 men and get ashamed by a small nation. So after he done that, God's saying, okay, buddy, you're done, you meet the requirements. I take your whole army. Remember, he only said this place was small, and the men tell him just take 2,000-3,000 men. But God now tell him take the whole army. So the instructions are going to be different. You just got to follow them, right? Take the whole army and go up and attack Ai. For I have delivered into your hands the king of Ai, his people, his city, and his land. You shall do to Ai and its kings as you did to Jericho and its kings, except that you may carry off their plunder and livestock for yourselves. Set an ambush behind the city. So he's saying this time in Ai, it's okay to take the stuff. It's okay to take stuff. But in Jericho, he gave them specific instructions. Do not take nothing from there. But this time he's telling them, it's okay, buddy. Take what y'all want. Carry off. Take the stuff that they got. Right? It's okay. So the instruction will be different. So I said this to say, guys, right? In this case, the devoted things was some stuff that he takes. Sometimes in our case, we're not getting our victories because we break certain covenants that we don't even think about, right? Simply, sometimes some people might be sick or going through a tough situation, and they might make some covenants with God. Say, God, if you only get me out of this situation, I'm going to serve you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And God's like, oh, that sounds good to me. That sounds good. Your sickness, gone. Or you're in prison, you're going to prison facing trial, or you're in prison and you make certain covenants with God. God, if you only get me out of here, I'm going to get my life right. I'm going to do this and do. God said, okay, that's the deal. Like, I could work with that. All of a sudden, you get out of prison, or you didn't get charged for those charges that you go up with. And then, well, he expects you to do your part. You make an agreement with him. There's a covenant you make with him. Simply, you don't realize. You don't think it's serious. You just get your end of the bargain met, and you're like, okay, good, thank you. I'll get off this case. And you forget about the covenant you make. And now you're suffering some other stuff, and you're wondering, why am I going through this? I want you to just think back right now. If you had made certain covenants with God about certain things, or you made covenants with other people that you break in, because God take covenants seriously. Right? Simply just like how they break this covenant. See, Joshua didn't know anything about this covenant, right? It was in the camp. So sometimes we make covenants years ago and we forget about it. I'm going to tell you the story. My friend, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing his testimony. Since you were like 18, 19 years old, and I'm how much ever now, so that's about 35 more years ago or something like that. I remember a friend telling me he was sick. He had a motorcycle accident and he had the handlebar. His bar hit his heart. He had a hole in his heart. And he had to live in about 16 pills a day, he said. And one day, he was a guy not far away from God, right? Far away from God. But after he said, God, I don't know if you were real, but I'm not going to drink 16 pills for the rest of my life. If you were real and you save me, I'm going to throw away these pills. If you save me, I'm going to follow you. I know you're real and I'm going to follow you. Long story short, he threw away those pills and he go back to the doctor. No evidence of a hole in his heart. None. I remember he telling me that I was a young, and this stuff stuck with me. Then he did do what he needed to do and he followed God. He become one of the most serious Christians there were around. Now, fast forward, just a year ago, I was talking to a next friend that a friend of him was same Christian with him. And I said, how is he doing? And he said, man, you know, you get in his heart, you get some trouble with heart. And so I said, boom, God bring it right back to me. I don't know why the story stick. The other guys didn't even remember the testimony. But for some reason, God had it placed on my heart. I always remember it and talk about it. And right away, God said, tell him he break the covenant. And I asked, I said, man, is he still, you know, serious how he was with the word? And my friend said, nah. And God said, you'll call the guy and let him know he break my covenant. And that's why he got the heart trouble again. That's why, because he break my covenant. And I delayed a little bit, and I was talking just late last year in November, and it come to me again. You didn't call him. I've made an attempt to call him, but I didn't reach him. But God said, that's not enough. Call him up. And I did call him, long story short, get him, and I tell him. And he said, man, I was thinking about going on a 40-day fast. I was wondering what's going on with me. Thank you for bringing me this answer. God said, just tell him. It's simple. You make a covenant with me and you break your covenant with me. That's why I put right back, because the covenant was, if you follow me, I'm going to heal you the hard stuff. Now, I'll heal your faith for the last 30-something years, but now you break the covenant. I got to put it back on you. You break it into the bargain. So guys, I'm saying, let's search our own hearts. Let's search our own life. Go back and see if we make any simple covenants that we violate, you know, that we forget about and we just think it doesn't matter. And see if that's the reason why we're facing certain situations. We're praying and we can't get rid of certain things. That might be the answer for some of us today. That search our lives and see simple covenants you make. You make a bargain with somebody or with God. It's something you're going through. You say, God, if you do this to me, I can do that, you know, and so just a little thing. This come to me this morning because I'm searching my own life for stuff too. And he lead me to this. So I know this is a message for me also. And it's a breakthrough for a lot of people out there also. Right? Let's go back and look and see if we make simple little covenants that we're not following through on. That's why we're being affected in certain areas. All right, guys? So take that. You can go through the story, man, and you get your own revelations. All right? But we're going to leave it there. Have a great Friday and have a great weekend. We'll talk again on Monday. Bye.